Welcome to Malcom Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcom and Rachelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right podcast. I'm your host, Malcom Reed, joined by my lovely wife, Rachelle, as always. And we got a guest with us this week. Shell, you want to do the introduction?
Durbin from Tennessee Mojo.
That's the man himself from Tennessee.
Yes.
I should have worn my hat today, Jay. I love your Mojo hats. The new ones are the best ones that you've done. And are you selling those?
I'm selling them.
Are they selling?
Well, when you posted the picture on your site, they sold.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was
that's good.
A nice bump in sales.
The reason why I like them because they fit my big head. It's a dome lid.
It's dome hats.
Yeah,
what's sad is we wear the same hat,
All
same
right.
size.
You must have the
talking about
small.
big
You
heads.
just sold me the extra large one, huh? No, most hats, even my Killer Hogs hats, I don't wear them all the time because they're kind of small on my head. I like one that looks like it's supposed to be on my head, so like a little beanie on there.
Oh yeah, I like them because they're kind of the trucker style, but not too tall.
Yeah.
So people can wear them.
Yeah.
So for those of y'all that don't know Jay or Tennessee Mojo, he does competition barbecue. You kind of got started in that, but we met you several years back, but you've kind of come on in your food photography skills. I mean, mainly barbecue, what we're interested in. And in Instagram, you're killing it, man. You're got a big following starting up, and people are reposting your pictures and liking them. And I think
You're getting a lot of buzz.
we think
from
you're
your
doing a
photography.
fantastic job on it. So we wanted you to come on, not just because we're friends, but we wanted to talk some Instagram stuff today. Of course, we'll talk about you some, so you can.
Okay, that'll work.
And photography stuff. I got some photography questions for you.
I can lie.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean,
Where's my beer?
I don't know. Did you bring you one?
Yeah, I said it right here.
Oh, here it is. I opened that one. I thought that was for me. Can I open me one?
Yes.
Or is that all of them?
No, that's
Where are they? Yeah, I've got to have a beverage today.
okay. It is Saturday.
It is Saturday. We're recording this on Saturday because Jay kindly took time out of his schedule to come hang out with us. And we've been asking him, I guess ever since we've been doing a podcast. I wanted you to be the first. You've never done a podcast, right?
I've never done a
one?
podcast. I've turned down some because I said yours would be the first, so here I am.
Well, there's nothing to
we
it.
appreciate
We're just hanging out, so don't be intimidated.
I don't like being on this side of the camera.
Yeah.
Don't even act like it's there. That's what I do. I mean,
So
get used to
tell everybody how you first met Jay, or tell me how you first
Well,
met Jay. I don't think I know.
So we had a mutual friend that I didn't know, Mr. Danny Montgomery from up in Chewally, Tennessee. And that's kind of the part of the country where my dad's from. He grew up as a kid before moving to Memphis, and all his family's still there. And Danny lived there too. And so my dad bought his granddad's little farm. And just so happens Danny was a neighbor. He bought a little land down at the bottom down there, dead end road. My dad said when they grew up, they thought that was where the world stopped because you went down there wasn't no coming back. You had to go back the way you came. But so we got to know Danny, and he's been doing barbecue for years. I mean, he's been successful at Memphis and May. He was doing competition barbecue, both Memphis and May style, Kansas City style, and just he's just an all around good guy. And it come to find out, Jay was cooking with him. I think it was at Corinth, Mississippi. What do they call it? Hog Wild.
Hog Wild.
We were up there one year, right beside Danny. Saved us a spot, so we backed our trailer in. He told us he had this new guy he was showing the ropes to. And it was Jay, and so we hung out that weekend.
Was that your first?
That was
barbecue?
my first barbecue. The deal was he was also catering that night for a wedding, and I watched the backwoods. It was full of the cater meat, and didn't think about watching him cook.
Oh, really?
And so I missed all the secrets,
Yeah.
that night. But that was my first experience in the competition.
So he told us that he put Jay on night duty. And Jay's job was to sit there and watch that cooker, make sure nothing happened. Well, the backwoods don't need watching. So Jay pretty much sat there and watched the thermometer all night.
That's what I did.
And didn't leave his chair. And I think that was a weekend. I think I'd brought a bottle of Crown Royal or something. Or you may have had a nip. I don't know. But we had a good old time, and we kind of hit it off. We were doing barbecue live around then. So we invited Jay to come hang out with us because Mr. Danny would come to barbecue live just to have another voice. And And Jay said he wanted to come just kind of see what we were doing because you were thinking about getting into barbecue then. And that's, heck, I think the next time we saw you was at Tupelo and you built a cooker. And from then on, we've just been hanging out and been buddies. I mean,
been a good time too.
Yeah, and Jamie, your wife, Jamie came with you. She helped a lot at Barbecue Live with some behind the scenes stuff. Yeah.
It was a lot of help. I don't know how many you done with us. I mean,
you were there when the SteakTeam was started.
I can remember Tupelo.
That wasn't Tupelo.
We were standing around the table after 7:07.
We got our tails kicked in barbecue.
It was a double header, right?
We was mad that first day. After the first day, and we said, "The heck with barbecue, we'll cook steak." And then the steak van was invented.
Steak van was invented. I was going to buy a van where we could put all of our stuff in it. And we made a steak team where we all were going to be on the same team but cooking against each other. And we were going to travel around and cook a steak contest. But I kind of got my barbecue confidence back. I think me and Wiley won grand that next day. But we still came on with steak team. You had some airbrush hats made. Was that? We got one hanging up on the wall up here. That's the original, man. That's an OG. How many people have them? Where was that? Was that a Panama City hat?
We went to the beach at Panama City right
like
after we had that.
I think y'all left there.
We did leave and had them made. And Waylon represents quite a bit.
He rocks his steak van hat, and I did buy a van after that.
Yeah, that's right.
We bought a Toyota minivan, and it was black. It was a perfect little steak van. We actually used it a few times. I mean, not in the. I was thinking more A-team style.
Yeah, y'all were sharing a bunch of pictures on
back and
forth.
We had it planned out, man. SteakTeam was in full effect. You started the Instagram page for it, and we got some traction on it a little bit. We kind of fell off.
We did.
I mean, it's hard to manage all that stuff, isn't it?
I didn't realize what a job Instagram was.
Yeah.
Until I started, and then trying to run two was just hard.
Yeah. And Malcom, you can't let Malcom have free reign when he's been drinking.
It's not what I'll put on there, huh? But so that kind of you're doing a lot of competition barbecue. Then you got into kind of steak cook-offs. But now, as you went on, I guess when you had your Tennessee Mojo brand, it's kind of evolved over the years. But you went with the social media aspect of doing photography, and Instagram worked perfect for that. So tell us a little bit about how you got started on your social media and what your ideal was and why you liked photography.
Well, when I started in hanging with y'all, I never was into social media. I just, I think I had a MySpace page.
You're too cool for it.
I still wish I had MySpace. That was like the best
one.
That
was our first one.
But I listened to a guy I know. He's got a YouTube channel, just a small one. He's like, do YouTube videos. So I went out and bought a camera. I researched. I'm a big researcher, and found what would be the best YouTube camera. And so we bought one.
What was it?
It was a Canon.
A Canon
T6i. At the time, that was vlogging. That was what people was vlogging.
Yeah.
And I made a short little video and watched it and deleted it and said I'll never do YouTube.
Didn't like the way
I didn't like the way I sound or look.
Yeah,
and
I don't like a lot of that either on me. But hey,
we go down to Ecuador every year, and I took that camera, and that was really the first time I took any pictures with it. And got home, and I'm like, man, I like this. So we got to playing around, I believe, in like October or December of 17. I seen Dennis the Prescott. He's big on Instagram.
Yeah.
And
he has great.
He's one of the big ones.
I seen one of his pictures. Is good now.
And I knew he had a cookbook. So I downloaded the cookbook and seen a shrimp and grits recipe, and I took a picture of it. And I believe it was my second picture. My first picture was the one of the smoker I built out of the toolbox. And he commented on it, and that had me hooked.
Yeah.
And
that somebody like that would recognize a picture that you took.
That I took, and ever since then, it's a nightly process.
So you didn't have any photography background at all, or taking pictures? I know you've done a lot of stuff.
None whatsoever.
Excuse me. You've done a lot of stuff. I mean, you were. Heck, I remember when we first met you. You said you and Jamie used to be into doing wedding cake. Y'all had a cake bakery.
We've done it. We done
serious cakes, like really professional.
I'd get home from work on Monday, and we just had a regular oven, And I'd start bake cakes Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, make icing Thursday, and she'd help decorate. And
this was before barbecue.
This was right before barbecue. And then leather work and everything else. But barbecue and cooking has been my longest hobby.
So you're the closest thing to a Renaissance man I know, Jay.
We try to do a little
man
bit
of the
everything.
arts.
I've always been a hands-on.
Well, it shows with the stuff you do, because it's all. I mean, it looks so professional. To not have any kind of photography training, the pictures you take are amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you learn on YouTube. That's the new search engine.
It is. That's what, instead of Googling something, I find myself going to YouTube. Heck, I learned how to fix our garbage disposal on YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, it was jammed up one time. I was like, what can I do? I don't want to call a repairman,
That's what's great about it. You can fix your garbage disposal, and you can go YouTube how to do open heart surgery, and you can do it the next day. There's a video. I've watched it.
I wouldn't recommend that. Hey, who knows?
But you said it's a nightly process, so every single night you're cooking and photography.
I'm cooking.
Yeah.
There may be times where the picture I post tonight I done the night before.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's the same night. I get home from work at 4. I'll cook, take a picture of it, get it on there, and then start commenting.
Yeah.
And so, and that's the thing. We eat what we cook. So.
Well, how long does it take you to set up a shoot?
Not long. I figured out over the first 6 months of eating cold food that, and I guess that's one reason my style is overhead, because I know I can set the camera up, use a basic backdrop, because I'm not fancy at all, and throw it under the camera, take the picture, and eat.
Well, what I liked about yours, when you first told me the idea you were going for, it was you're coming from a small town, don't have a lot of places to, you're not close to Memphis where you can source anything you want. So your idea was to be able to go somewhere like Walmart, get all the ingredients, show people that you can put something together that's not only tastes good, but it's beautiful. And that's what you said you kind of had that was your
on
idea.
The cheap or something.
Cooking on the cheap, because that's where I work. I'm 2 minutes from Walmart. So every afternoon, that's another thing. I don't plan ahead. I just walk into Walmart and look till I see, hey, which it's not hard for me because I don't like vegetables. So usually in the meat department. And that's what people need to realize is you don't have to go out to big some fancy restaurant, or you don't have to. Don't get me wrong, we love Wagyu and everything else, but you can make a choice steak, out of the meat department just as good.
Yeah, well, if you know what you're looking for, I mean that was one thing. Last week we went and did the beef certified Angus beef stuff, and they showed us a ton of great tasting cuts that were a lot cheaper than going out and buying a ribeye or a filet. So you don't have to spend a ton of money to make something good, and that's I think what you're doing, showing people that's pretty cool.
It's all I got.
So once you always cook your meat on a grill, always
on a grill.
Yeah.
Well, you do some cast iron stuff too, man. I've seen it,
but it's usually on the grill.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just consider it all on the grill. There is a few times here recently I had to cook in the oven. And thought about passing it off as being on the grill.
Really?
You hate to lie to you.
Well, see, now I will say this. It's one thing to do videos like I do. I can't pull a lot of stuff out like that. But with doing pictures, you can say you cooked it on whatever, because you know how the food stylists are, man. I know you don't do that because you probably had never been trained to do anything like that.
Well, my thing is food stylists don't eat what they have in front of them.
It's all, man.
We've got to eat.
Have you seen...
I've got to feed them.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is dinner that night.
It's dinner that night. That's what we eat.
Well, how many times a week are you trying to cook something?
Tired of meat?
So a lot of times I'll go to Mama's and eat.
Yeah,
so the kids will. Jamie, she tries to stick in there with me.
Yeah.
So how many times a week are you cooking?
At least 5.
Really? So you do the cooking? 5?
Man,
cooking. Jamie got it made, doesn't she?
They would like vegetables.
Are they sitting around you waiting on because you're holding up taking pictures?
Yeah, I'll be in there on the picture and they'll be standing there with their plate just waiting.
Yeah.
But I've learned too to try to cook enough to do pictures and then have some have so they can start eating. So
because you can't hold it. It's gonna you can't hold a steak or something. It doesn't look as good. It
changes.
Yeah,
so,
it changes.
But yeah, we were learning the tricks.
You ever cooked anything that they didn't want to eat?
No, I try. I cook what I like.
Yeah.
And
so you stay away from
I don't
it.
like a lot.
Yeah.
You know? So most of the time we eat it.
Have you found it makes you less picky though, because you're cooking different things and you're trying something you might not cook?
And I'll tell you, I guess, when we started hanging out and cooking competitions and us being off traveling and eating different restaurants, I've tried stuff that I probably never would have.
Yeah.
Really?
But I'm still a burger man.
That's your main deal.
Yeah,
I wanted to talk about that. So I don't know where we are in the line of questions, but
Yeah, we can jump around.
But you put out some pictures. So World Foods earlier this year had a contest. I guess it was you took their ingredients, list of ingredients, and come up with a picture, whatever you wanted to do, and submitted it to them. And that was for like a prize pack, tickets, all different kinds of swag type stuff. And you actually won that for, was it Tennessee? There
was two different sections of it. It was this Taste of America is what it's called. And they had a Instagram People's Choice to start out with. And they give you, and what it is, everything's from Walmart. It's like the red gold.
Oh, that was right near my wheelhouse.
I'm like, I can do this. And you only had to use 3, but I went ahead and used like all of them.
Yeah.
Springer Mountain Chicken was one of them.
Yeah.
We actually have Springer Mountain. And we done that. You had to get the most likes, so you get out there and beg a little bit and say, hey, please like my picture. And we ended up, I believe, 2 VIP passes that week.
For
paid judging.
The spectator
for
side
spectator.
of things, yeah.
A judging class, was included with it. So,
Yeah.
But then you rolled that over into the recipe category, where if they chose your recipe, you got to go compete. You won your way into World Foods on the recipe part,
that's
right?
it. I won, and I didn't know it at the time, but paid entry.
Wow, really?
Great.
So
was the picture the selling point on that, or was the recipe a combination?
It's a combination. They actually had certified eat judges.
Look at the picture and the
recipe and make sure.
That's awesome.
Would it be something we would eat?
So
What was it? What was your burger?
We called it the Chicken Parm Mojo Burger. And it come up because I was thinking of something that would make a good picture. I wanted the Instagram picture to be, to pop, and that's what we come up with. Yeah. And
so they can go to your feed and go back and look at that picture.
Chicken Parm Mojo Burger.
Yeah, that's several weeks back, I'm sure.
It's been a while back. But it was, and when we first done it, I didn't know how it was going to turn out. And when we bit into it, I was like, this is it.
Yeah. So that's what you're going to cook in World Foods? Yeah.
I believe I will.
Yeah.
I believe it'll be an opening round. I'll try it.
As you cook your stuff at home, are you keeping up with your recipe, the ingredients you use, the quantities and stuff?
That's the only time I've ever kept
really?
Up with it. Yeah. And it's because I knew I had to turn it in.
Yeah.
So, no.
Most of it is just for the final pick, right? The outcome.
I just cook on the fly. And a lot of times we use Mojo rub, we use Killer Hog, we use swine live.
Yeah.
I try to keep it all in the family.
We got to, man.
Yeah.
And
we got to, right?
You were actually on our final World Foods team last year.
Yeah, heck yeah. We couldn't have done it without you and Jamie, man. I want to say thanks for that. I mean, I know I've told you so many times.
We had a blast. We had a blast.
It was awesome. I felt like that experience at World Foods really kind of opened our eyes, everybody's, to a competitive cooking.
That's what I agree with you 100% because after, I guess it was the first 15 minutes in that kitchen, going in, the night before, me and Mark was all freaking out. And we got in there. I said, this is it. You had a little 10 by 10 spot and a grill and a stove. That's it.
And we had to come up with all that. Yeah.
I said, I'm going to be here next year. And that's why, which we were already qualified this year through state.
Right.
But I wanted to be in the kitchen the whole time. And I didn't want to be in the kitchen against you or against Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's why the Taste of America was perfect.
Well, we signed up for seafood.
Yep, sure did.
So if we make that final round, man, I hope we can team up again because that was what, that's like Shell said, it opened up a whole different kind of food competition because we're used to just, barbecue contest, steak contest, and that's kind of it. We've never been in an arena like that to where you're cooking against people on the clock, and that was fun, man. And that
was a lot of fun.
That was one of the best experiences I've had in a food sport or food competition.
And to have the cameras.
They were interviewing us while we were doing
chef or something.
I had to fill out the application or whatever the other day for it, and and they ask a lot of questions and won't know if, are you willing to be on some of these bigger shows?
Yeah.
I'm like,
oh, really?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I hope not.
I hope not.
I hope I don't get
I
picked.
think you'll do great on it, man.
Have you booked your hotel room? It's in Houston this year, right?
It is.
Yeah.
We're
No,
planning-
Dallas.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Texas.
I meant to do it last week. We're gonna get it done this week because I don't want to. It's right there at the site. I don't want to miss it.
I booked our rooms, man. We're ready.
Yeah, but burgers, seafood, they're all booked up.
Full. Yeah, they shut them off. So it's going to be. I think it's going to be huge. I mean, it was big last year, but I don't remember them closing. Did they close Burger last year or
I don't remember
close?
being closed.
Yeah, that's the first time I've seen it this early in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just now May.
I will miss the beach though.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was an awesome place. We were lucky enough where we stayed. We had a kitchen, so we could do a practice the
Yeah.
night before. That helped
Well, now
out.
we're a little more prepared.
And we know what to
weren't prepared
expect.
at
I didn't
all.
know what to expect.
We were planning to not make it and go back.
And go back home. Yeah, we almost. Yeah, that was my plan.
I was slightly disappointed when you made it. I was like, dang it.
That's my plan. That's my plan at Springfest last week. I'm like, if I can just get fourth.
Yeah,
That's all I worry about.
yeah.
I really don't want to talk to the judges.
That's right. Yeah. No, that's not the plan at Memphis.
Oh no.
So, so when you're doing your videos, your photos, Rachelle takes a ton of pictures of ours while we're trying to do video and stuff. Do you do any shots while the stuff's cooking, or the process, or is it all in that final shot?
I used to, but cooking outside, I don't throw up lights, and it was
Yours is usually dark too.
and it was
Yeah.
dark. The time I
Yeah.
get started, it's dark. So I kind of got away from the on the grill pictures. I'll grab one, but I don't post them much.
Yeah.
But now, and it's kind of made it hard now because now it's daylight. I've got to get back into the whole natural light side of pictures because I was using artificial light.
Right.
You
Right.
just set it up. If I wanted to, I could leave my setup there every night
Yeah.
and take pictures.
Yeah.
Because
You've got a lot more control, but you have to know a lot more to me. Do you have to know a lot more about light?
I just get lucky.
Yeah, right. Your headshots have been getting a lot of...
It's
You did one of Malcolm, you did one of Dukers.
Dukers. We're going to make Dukers famous.
I think that's great. I actually got an email. It's like a casting call. You get them all the time, It's a casting call for barbecue amateurs or whatever. I was like, we need to get Dukers on this show.
I asked him, is Duker's an amateur? He's been cooking pro for a while.
He's a ladies' man.
He's the real Renaissance man.
That's him.
Michael liked his glasses.
I've got I've seen a lot of comments.
His welded glasses.
Yeah, I gave him a black and white version I like better.
Yeah, oh,
They
really?
really stand out. You talking
Yeah.
Star Wars looking guy
Yeah.
there with his big black and white goggles on.
Well, if somebody wants to improve their pictures, what can they do?
YouTube.
You do. That's a good answer.
So, you improve yours?
That's what I did. But through food, I watched I think it's We Eat Together is the name of his site, and watched him. And then you get off and just, as usual, YouTube goes. You just end up watching all kinds of stuff.
Get in that
It'll
loop.
come into, like, going from food, it went to a headshot, and I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. I'd like to do that.
Yeah.
And so I've not done a lot, but I enjoy it. I enjoy not directing people, and that's the thing about portraits. You have to a headshot. You're like, just stand there and let's do it.
Yeah.
So,
I'm with you. I like that candid. Yeah.
How's the boudoir pics go?
no takers. Still trying to convince the wife that it's a lot of money in it, but
There is, man. I know.
If anyone's interested in their boudoir pictures, Jay's taking applications.
He's dabbling. He's thinking about dabbling. Do you have any sets
Men
or
and
anything?
women.
no, we're thinking the barbecue trailer.
Yes.
Just come over to the gray trailer, and we'll let the wife do your makeup, and male or female.
Go
whatever you
right
want
to it.
Put a little key
Oh,
sweat
hickory
on.
in the back. Oh, hickory
That's
in the
it.
backdrop.
That's it.
That would be. I want to see those. I bet Dickers would.
Dickers in.
Does he have a special lady who wants to give some nice? I can just see him like Burt Reynolds laid up there on the fainting couch, you know.
I'm picturing more Kramer.
Oh yeah, from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Whitey tighties.
We got to get off.
Higgins BVDs. Do they still make BVDs?
Dickers gonna hate us. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Be all right. He's used to it.
Well, you know, I've noticed that I can take some pretty good pictures with a cell phone. Have you seen that?
I've
Have you
seen. You can.
Do you use cell phone at all? No.
What equipment are you using now?
Yeah.
You started out with the Canon.
I started out with the Canon. I've always wanted a full frame just for low light conditions, and so I moved over to the Sony A7 series.
Really?
Full frame, mirrorless, a lot smaller, and I like that.
Yeah, it is a lot smaller.
And you know, the quality I believe is a little better. I'm not one to say the camera makes the photographer either. You know, I've seen people shooting with cell phones on Instagram that's doing classes that can blow me away. You know, and I don't believe I'm that great, but I'm like, sometimes you get lucky and be like, hey, that's a pretty good shot.
Yeah.
So it's if you want to go on Instagram, you can do it with your phone. You know, but it's a process of sticking with it. You know, one picture a week.
The same way with videos.
Anything.
People forget about you quick today.
Yeah.
And so you got to keep it out there.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
If you were going to recommend a camera for somebody, somebody home, taking pictures at home, has a budget, what would you recommend?
Well, since I've moved over to Sony, I believe the A line, the mirrorless, and the Sony A6000, the A6400s, they're the crop censored version. They're great.
Are they budget friendly?
Yeah. Are they under $1,000?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And what turned me on to that was when we were cooking the PK cook-off last year. The photographer there was a younger guy, and he come by and he had the A7, I believe it was, or the newest one on his side, and then he had the A6500, which is a lot cheaper, and he was picking it up more. Just
than it was the
high
dollar
one.
Yeah.
So I believe it'd be a great thing. And if you shoot like me, you know, I bought a decent tripod that the arm will come over and stick it over my little homemade wood board and throw your plate under it.
What kind of lens are you shooting?
I'm using the 55 millimeter for overhead shots, and then I bought a 70 millimeter macro because I thought I might start doing some
real close in food shots. Yeah,
we'll break it out on the crawfish here in a little bit.
You brought it with you? Did you bring it with you? Yeah.
But yeah, it's the macro world's also something that I would like to look into.
Yeah.
You can get some incredible detail. I mean, when you see some of those pictures those guys are doing, I mean, it's crazy how tight they can get in there with those.
Which I put it on my story. I don't believe I put it on my post, which I'm not good at stories either. But a salt and pepper. I just got a little bowl of salt and pepper and got it right there on it.
Yeah.
Salt and pepper's ugly.
Really?
It is. It's funny. You know,
Yeah.
you think pepper, but the details is crazy.
Well, I wanted to get into that a little bit too with Instagram. Do you said you're cooking 5 nights a week, but when you get these pictures ready, I mean, I know you have some post time.
I do post.
Because you're not, but then do you have like a set schedule where I'm trying to release these pictures at a certain time? I know, I mean, are you playing with some of the Instagram?
It is, with a business account, like y'all, you've got, you can look at your stats, and it's always saying 3 o'clock is my best time. It's not. 8 o'clock at night is where I've found to get the most interaction.
And that's what you want, right? You want people to like it, to share it, to comment on it.
And it's not I don't guess it's to boost your ego, but to me, I'm trying to build a brand, and that's what it takes.
Mm-hmm. That's what we were talking about. If you want more sponsors for your barbecue team, if you want to get your name out there, if you want to sell a rubber sauce, you've got to play the social media game. You have to.
And bad as you
yeah, even if you don't want to.
I never thought I'd be doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were gonna,
you're doing good at it.
Yeah.
We work hard. We got a long way to go.
Yeah.
So, but I'm doing it I work for it. I'm not buying likes or buying followers or.
Yeah, it's all organically driven to you. Yeah.
If people follow me, besides the strippers, they jump on there. Every once in a while, you get them everywhere.
Lonely. How are you?
They're real folks, and a lot of them. You sit there and they talk to you.
So let's talk more about that Instagram strategy. I've always heard that you're going to get more likes or more comments or better traction on the timeline if you do respond to comments. So what's some of your strategy for doing Instagram?
Yeah.
The first hour is the most critical time.
What do you mean the first hour?
When you drop a pic.
When you drop a pic, the algorithm, the famous algorithm, they're looking at likes and comments. And if you don't, and I'm finding out it's more comments than anything. They want to see people interacting. Let's say, hey, people like this, we'll show it to more, because when you start out, they only show it to, 2% of your following?
Yeah.
And the more interactions you get, the more they show. And then on the comments, you kind of, and I done a little test one time and asked people to do 4 words or more in the comments, because I've heard that's what they're looking for.
Is that true? Yeah.
That's true.
So you're playing that algorithm.
Post blew up. Yeah. Because hashtags is where you're going to get out to people that's not following you.
Or who may be searching that hashtag or subscribe to a hashtag.
That's it. And if you don't, if Instagram don't see you're doing well, they're going to kill you in the hashtag game.
So do you try to create your own hashtags, to use popular hashtags that you see are trending?
I will try to use.
I use a combo of both.
Yeah, you've got
to. We try to make our own. We want people to use. Take Pride in Your Q or
and How to Barbecue Right.
But
Killer Hogs Barbecue.
The popular hashtags are hard to hit. You're looking, when you get into 26 million hit, tags on
barbecue.
This one, to make it up to the top where people see, you get into about 50,000, 100,000. You'll get more interaction. But then again, you don't use the same ones 2 days in a row, because they'll.
So there is a strategy
there's a strategy.
Yeah.
And we've just been learning it through trial and error.
Yeah.
Because you'll put a post up on Monday, and I believe my biggest had 23,000 views just off of hashtags. That wasn't people that was following me. That was just off hashtags. And then use the same ones again the next night, and you get 3.
They're not going to pick you up twice on one.
So how are you finding out about this strategy? Are you just researching it yourself? You got somebody you're working with, like a group, or
back to YouTube?
You're watching Instagram.
When I first started, I watched the
How to Instagram.
Instagram, and you get it in your mind. And now it's got to where you kind of learn what you can, and I just roll with it now. They're going to change the algorithm every couple months anyway. So I just stick with it, not using the same hashtags 2 days in a row, and I try to post at 8 o'clock. And they're saying stories is a big thing now to get into, but as y'all know, I don't like being on this side of the camera.
Yeah, and it's hard.
I've got to get more into that.
One thing that bothers me with stories is we'll make a post and it's something really interesting and it's gone in 24 hours.
It's gone.
I'll tell you what, with stories, what we've seen, it creates much more interaction as just a regular timeline post does. So when we drop, say we're doing something during the day, I get a ton of people that might just drop a 100 on it or drop a fire emoji or something like that. That's interaction. Yeah. That's people and that all goes, a lot of people, I don't know how much you do it, but if you notice up in the little top right-hand corner of Instagram, it shows you the people that are your followers, or that, they can send you direct messages. But also there's all these other people that are trying to send them to you. And that's where you see all the spam stuff, the strippers, but a lot of those other people are just people that are new to you. They might ask a question, or they might just reply to your story. But heck, when we do a story, 75% of that is just people dropping an emoji on it, showing you they watched the story. So it's amazing to me how much those are taken off as opposed to just straight timeline pics. You got to do a mixture of both. You got to.
And you've noticed a lot more likes.
A lot more likes from it. Yeah. More followers from it. The more stories you do. To me, I was always under the thing, well, let's just throw up pics on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a strategy. Shell's kind of the strategy behind it. And I would take pics with my, cell phone. They might not be the best quality, but it was something I thought I was interesting out doing. Well, when we started focusing and Shell started really taking the time to put better quality pics on the timeline, and then the story was just stuff that I thought was interesting or doing, you've got that blend, and it really seems to make your Instagram take off. I don't know if it's the right way, because we don't.
He set a goal. He's like, I'm going to get more followers than this person. And when he gets a goal, he gets
I drive to it. Yeah. You got to be goal driven, man. You got to have goals. I'm trying to get to 100.
If you were going to give somebody the 3 most important things that they should do to improve their Instagram game.
Well, quality pictures is a big thing.
Not just throwing up a pic you snap by walking by something.
And I find myself, and even, you can't follow everybody.
Right.
And I follow some people, they're great people. I'm not going, but when you just go out and
trading follows for follows,
but
so you don't do that. You don't trade follows for follows.
But if you're just going, man, it's hot. I don't want to sound rude, but you just take a fuzzy picture, I'm gonna scroll right past it.
Yeah, it don't catch your eye.
So you've got to stand out in the crowd. I'll tell you, for instance, the rib Jenga that I done. I stacked the ribs.
Yes.
It was just kind of an afterthought picture.
Yeah.
I didn't have no background. I just had a white foam board behind it, and I took the picture and I just put it on there. And I've seen it floating around everywhere.
Yeah.
Just
from people sharing it.
Yeah. And
reposting.
It stood out. So you can't do it every picture. I can't make a steak look awesome every time.
You can make Malcolm look like he's levitating a steak.
I forgot about that. That was in the early days.
That was a good pic. A lot of people shared that.
That was a good picture.
If you've seen that picture, how did you do it? It looks like Malcolm's.
He had his the rack we used to get it up off the grates was under there, and I just photoshopped it out. That's one of the few times I've used Photoshop. It comes with a photography package, so I said we might as well use it. And
it looked like I had my hand on it using the force.
And
that would have been a good one for today, May the 4th.
And my plan was to do the whole steak team that way. And I shared that picture, where we shared it.
Yeah.
And then people just
started
run
reposting
with it. And I'm like, that shot the whole
plan.
What do.
But that, and man, you got to interact. You just can't put a picture up there. Not only do I stay on there for an hour right after I post my picture talking to people, I go through the day, commenting on people because, man, there's some great guys out there, great guys and gals.
Yes.
People you meet that, we talk about it a lot. So, man, if I ever make it out to Salt Lake City, I'm coming to see you. And I mean it.
Yeah.
Because they are. Just because it's behind a keyboard or behind a phone, there's some great guys.
So that's the social aspect of it. It really is.
So, and connections that I've made over the first year and 4 months.
Well, I was going to ask you, have you seen it pay off other than, say, promoting Tennessee Mojo and likes? Have you gotten... Do you see it get to anything? I mean, are you getting sponsors by it? Are you getting people contacting you wanting to do stuff?
We have. We've got to work with some great companies. The first one I called you about it when it first come out was Primo Grills. At the time, I think I had, which I still don't have a lot of following, but I had 1,200 followers.
And they contacted you?
Contacted me, and I'm like, man, this is strange, And I took that deal and love them. I love the grill. But since, Camp Chef, the pellet grill, love it. The Dow Strong knives.
Yeah. I love the Dow Strong. Those guys found me from Instagram.
And so you think, well, I got a small following and this and that, but people, if they like what they see.
If you're doing quality stuff, if you're engaging with your audience.
And that's the big thing.
It's leading to that.
They're going to look to engagement more now than, well, he's only got 1,000 followers. He's only got, if they'll look and they'll look at how many comments you're getting. If you comment back, and that's what it takes to push their product too.
Didn't you tell me one of the guys that you acquired a sponsorship from told you I like how you interact with people? Yeah,
he sure did.
And that's just elbow grease, really. When it comes down to it.
And it is. It's every night. Yeah. And I set aside from 8 to 9. I'm glued to my phone.
How many hours do you think you spend on Instagram a week?
I've looked at my stats, and daily it's a little over 2 hours.
Wow, because it shows you how many times you're on the app, doesn't it?
I do my post, and then in the morning when I get up, I'll look at it and try to comment back. And it's not just commenting on people; comment on their photos too. Give them some love.
Yeah.
So, are you using? I know you're focused on Instagram. That's your main social media outlet. Are you also using the Facebook, Twitter? I know you're not doing video, but are you using any of that for content on the other platforms?
I feel bad for Facebook because all I do is just kind of share from what I post. I put share to Facebook.
So it's not really original stuff on there?
It's a whole different game with those other ones.
And people are I don't want to leave them out, but a lot of times I just don't look because when I open my Facebook and the first thing, something political or this, I don't want drama. I'm not a drama guy. And
so the
Instagram is not.
I agree.
And you kind of control your feed a little more on Instagram, who you follow. You don't see all that stuff.
And the people
Facebook is like that, man. And that's what I think that's going to be the death of it one of these days.
It is.
When you've got all this political stuff or people venting on it. Instagram's just about sharing photos, you know.
Facebook barbecue guy's been a lot.
You wouldn't have thought that, would you? I try not to. Not in my circle. Those are the ones that don't follow, you know.
Yeah, I believe I unfollowed one guy on Instagram because I opened it up and he had some big political post. And I don't know if he had an app telling who unfollowed him at the time.
You jumped on
him?
And
it wasn't a minute later. He done jumped on me. And, I mean, that was my answer.
Yeah.
I'm not here for drama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't blame you, man.
And another thing, we're back on the top 3, and I don't do it. Videos, which to me, Instagram's a picture. I mean, but video is
we get so many more likes out of a video than we do a photo.
I will say this: I've noticed how many people are putting up videos because I was laying in bed and he was still asleep, and I was pulling it up, and every video would come on and had sound, and I didn't realize how many videos were actually on Instagram until
I guarantee you, eventually you'll be able to sort your timeline by videos or pics instead of having to see that.
It would be nice. You pull up a hashtag right now, and the half of the screen is going to be full of that first video.
Yeah.
And, it kind of makes it hard for guys like me that don't do it. But, hey, if you're going to do it, you got to play the game. Yeah. So maybe eventually.
Well, couldn't you just get a video of the food, like, laid out, looking all good?
I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Somewhat. That's...
I would find it interesting seeing a little 15, 20-second video of how you placed it on there.
Oh, yeah.
To get ready to take the pics,
We've thought about that. I'll tell you, and I done it in my stories because I wasn't happy with it. I done a time lapse one time on some rib sweating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I thought I was good enough to do it in, Lightroom and Photoshop. It didn't turn out as great, so I put it on my stories, and I got a lot of interaction just on that.
Yeah. That's pretty neat stuff.
I would definitely watch that because I'd learned something.
I'd like to see a photo of the setup. Of how of your light or how the lights you got, just like a back look at what you're doing. I mean,
people would laugh if they seen what I've done.
Well, there's something about the simplistic approach of it, man.
My first lighting setup, which all I have is a little LED now, but I went to Walmart and bought one of the old silver dome shop lights and put a bulb in it, a 100-watt LED bulb, and made a softbox out of some foam core and put a sheet on it and just set it up and went to taking pictures. So you don't have to have a lot.
You don't. I believe that. We went to the Certified Angus Beef, and they showed us their photography studio, and it is professional. They've got multiple backdrops. They have the best cameras.
The tables, it's like a Santa Maria table, wasn't it? You can crank the table to different heights. I was like, that's amazing.
And they had the overhead, rigs, and they had everything. And
one of these professional boom type tripod things for their different cameras that would go on them and put them wherever they wanted them. It was amazing. It was like a cherry picker for cameras. It's got the big crane arm and can do all this stuff.
And God. They said it takes them. They will spend all day to get one picture.
Yeah, one picture.
Yeah, they will spend. If they're doing really good, they'll get 2 pictures in a day.
We would never get anywhere if it took us. If it took us a day to get one pic. Could you imagine that?
Sitting here, you wouldn't eat that, I don't guess.
No, you wouldn't. It's only for the pictures.
I know they're doing a whole different level.
The chef there told me they would cook, for one picture of one steak, they might cook 4 cases of steak. Yeah.
To get the perfect
absolute perfect picture. They're cutting, how many?
He said they'd cut them and be like, nope. Cut them.
Nope. Yeah.
See, that's crazy because I've seen pictures that we take, pictures y'all have taken. I'm like, that's just as good as any magazine.
Yes.
I bought books because it was supposed to be this great photography book, and I'm like, I think I might could have done that.
Exactly.
You got a talent for it, though.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of
too. She's gotten, pretty.
I'm no Jay, but I've seen a lot of your stuff that I thought could easily be in a magazine or a cookbook or anything like that. A national campaign. One of these days.
One of these days. Give me
a food.
Give me 6, 7
barbecue
years.
picture book. Just nothing but pictures, no
That
recipes.
would be good. That's a good idea. I like it. I have to branch out a little bit because now it's just steaks and burgers and every once in a while Walmart have something a little different. Let's get that. So, and that's the thing about Instagram too. You'll see people something just takes off. It's like the whole chuck roast here lately. They're cooking them burnt ends, and all of a sudden one guy done it and it's taken off. I've just not chose to do it yet because I don't want to
burn ends.
Follow.
Burn ends always catches on. You want to talk about guinea pigs?
I did. You had that down there.
I got 2.
I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask you. You mentioned earlier about going to Ecuador. So you and your family, Jamie and the girls, y'all do a mission trip every year since I've known you to Ecuador. And I think one of the times, I don't remember if it was one of the first times you told me that about going or whatever, you cooked some guinea pigs. And I didn't know if it was on a dare or if you just went to Petco down there or whatever and picked out some of their guinea pigs and decided to cook them. Or
guinea pig is their delicacy.
Really?
You can go.
Oh, it's a thing.
Yes, they raise them in their kitchen for special occasions.
Wow.
You can go. We go to this one restaurant in the center of the world, and it's fancy for Ecuador. Filet mignon's like $9. Guinea pigs $27.
Wow. No. How is it served? On the plate, like how is it served?
Looks like a whole hog, but it's a guinea pig.
Really?
Yeah.
Head on like a squirrel.
Head on. They eat the eyeballs. And that's the thing down there. You leave nothing.
They don't waste it. They don't waste anything. Don't waste it.
I can tell you, if you want to, we'll talk about the first year I went with cooking the whole hogs.
Yeah.
But the guinea pig is, it's something.
Did you like it?
What did it taste like? Did you eat the eyeballs?
Have you ever ate coon?
I have had coon.
Coon's a little greasy.
Yeah.
It's a lot like it. It's a little greasy. How they cook it because
like nutria.
When I cook it, I do it like a whole hog. I smoke it more than I do anything else, and it's a little better. Now they cook them hot and fast.
Just grilled guinea pig.
It's grilled, so it comes out and it's just floating.
You think of it, that's kind of like a squirrel, fat squirrel.
Yeah, but is it rare kind of still?
Oh, no, it's cooked. But you got to think, our guinea pigs, and we've got 2 of them at home now, is this big. They're this big.
You got you got a genetic farm going on.
But they will. Families, they'll have their own guinea pigs, and they're not pets.
Yeah,
they're feeding them
to
cook them.
When you say they raise them in their kitchen, you mean inside or outside?
Inside. They'll raise them.
But they don't think of them as pets.
They got a hamster cage full of guinea pigs.
Food. And I guess that's their Thanksgiving turkey. It's
a guinea pig.
A guinea pig.
This is not something you go out and request.
Like I said, they call it cuy. Yeah, CUI down there, and you'll drive by, and down there's districts like this block will be restaurants, this next block will be shoes, but they'll have a block and it'll just be guinea pig restaurants.
Really?
What do they serve with guinea pig?
A lot of potatoes down there. Potatoes, and I call them plantains.
It's like in the banana family.
Yeah, so
that's a Cuban thing. Plantains. I like plantains. They're good.
They're good.
It's kind of starchy, starchier, less sweet banana.
That's what
but you caramelize them up with, that raw sugar. I'm sure that that Ecuadorian sugar you brought.
Yeah, they don't use it.
They don't use it? Really?
No.
Is it too expensive, or
they just don't use much seasoning? The only seasoning that is a chimichurri type. And I think I brought some of it back.
I like that.
And everything's just kind of basted. The meat is there's really no salt and pepper I see them use. They just throw it on a grill, a hot, raging grill with eucalyptus wood, and they just baste it in that chimichurri.
Eucalyptus wood. Oh.
That's the wood you got down there.
Man, is that hard?
Yes. If you can ever. And it's kind of sad. I've got to get our preacher's wife down there, 6-toed wife. He has to start. She has to start all my
He got
fires.
6 toes?
No, he's only got 5, I hope. Oh. But that's.
Why you call him 6 toes?
I had to count him. That's his name. And I have to get her to light my fires because I can't
get the wood to burn. It's too hard. Is it the altitude, the oxygen, and everything?
That, I believe
the moisture
wood's just so hard.
Yeah.
Oh no!
It's just hard.
Yeah, she'll take a candle and an old shirt and sit there and work it and fan it and then I started taking fire starters last year and.
Oh, they love that.
They really love them.
Yeah.
But when you go to a restaurant, the big fans that they blow up the bouncy houses for?
The blowers.
That's
the blower
what
type
they
deal.
use to keep their fire going.
Really?
Really? It's a stoker. A giant stoker, yeah.
Sure will.
So what was it? You mentioned cooking hogs there.
Yeah.
Real hogs.
We cooked real hog our first year, or my first year. The wife come back and she was talking about, man, you go down there's hogs in the back of pickups just riding down the road or hanging on the side of the road. I said, that's what we're going to do when we go down there.
Because you're barbecue man,
that's
right?
That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And we got down there and we couldn't find a hog. Nowhere. That's the sickest I've ever been from worrying that first day because we was going to cook them the second day. And we got to the village and it was to the point where I was like, we can't do it. I can't. And Pastor Sixto again, he just come up missing. He come back and he said, come with me. And I did. And we walked down 4 houses and this lady had 2, I wouldn't call them hogs. They were pigs dressed out about 60 pounds.
Yeah.
And I bought them hogs.
Man, those are good eating though.
And we bought them and
they were fresh?
They were fresh. I told her.
Head on or did they have skin on?
They were alive. They were still walking around eating.
Oh.
And these were their, I wouldn't say pets, but this was their.
They gone to their last day.
What does 60-pound hogs go for in Ecuador?
I paid $300 for 2 of them.
Really?
Which we gave a lot more.
Yeah. You're helping out. Right.
But down there, I don't think they own a watch. If you tell them we're going to be here at 5, it may be 6:30.
Yeah.
And so the next day, I said, I've got to have these by 6 o'clock to have them ready. And I was going to try to push these through for 12 hours. I mean, it wasn't going to be a long.
You want them 6 a.m.
I had to. And we pull up and they come back to me and said, well, these ladies want to know if they can kill them and clean them. I said, I don't care what they do. They said, and can they have the bones and everything that's left? They get everything. I mean, what was left after we cleaned them?
Sure.
They take them.
Really? Didn't waste any of it.
Their chicken soup has feet in it. I mean, it's a different world. Yeah, we cooked them hogs really hot.
They turn out?
They did. My bus driver, our bus driver down there, Franklin, his name, he wanted to build the fire for me that morning. I made a pit had 2 blocks high, and the back wall was
like CMU block.
Yeah, and they had cut out for a dry, I guess what you call a carport. Didn't have a car, so that was the back side of it. And so we had, I think, about 200 pounds of this eucalyptus charcoal because I thought I'd need it. So we put 50 pounds in there, and he said, "Can I start the fire?" I said, "Yeah." We cook slow, so just started in one corner. I got over there, and it was a raging inferno. So
he built you a fire.
I had to cook the hog.
Yeah.
So it was like, we talk about you cook ribs every 30 minutes. You'll open and spritz it. Every 5 minutes, I spritz it in hogs.
You're trying to keep them slowed down.
It was some of the best hogs I ever cooked.
Really? It didn't burn up.
Didn't burn up. They was black.
Yeah.
It was just the skin.
They still have the skin on them, or they skin them? They scalded them, scraped them, and everything.
They scalded them. When they come up, they was in a wheelbarrow. Them 2 ladies walked up. And there was steam coming out of them wheelbarrows. And I took them.
That's fresh as it gets,
that was
man.
The year, we took killer hogs.
Yeah.
And I injected with some apple juice down there, and we put killer hogs on it, and we rolled with them. And like I said, they loved it.
Good.
And last year when we went, they said we want to give you our barbecue, which is nothing like. They drove 2 hours away, where somebody roasted them a whole hog and brought it back, just so we could eat.
Yeah.
Really?
What was it like? It just roasted pork.
Roasted pork.
Yeah.
But it wasn't nothing. It was as big as this table. It wasn't nothing like the 2
It
babies.
was a full grown hog.
2 babies I cooked. It's a great. We love it down there, and the food's pretty good.
Yeah. You going back this year? I
Going back
guess
this year.
Yeah, every summer, isn't it?
Every summer, every July.
Yeah.
So I try to come up with something different each year to cook, and it don't take much to, we're talking about Instagram page. I cook simple stuff. Yeah. Last year we cooked chili, and you're thinking, everybody's had chili.
They never had chili, really.
Did they like it?
Oh yeah, they were coming in with gallon buckets. I don't know if they could take
some home. Yeah.
Because that's down there. We I hate to carry on, but the regular day there may be 30 or 40 adults come when we do Bible study or anything. The night we cook, we'll have 200-300 people.
Yeah. So you're feeding the whole community.
I'm feeding the whole.
Yeah. That's awesome. The whole village or whatever.
And you're getting them in.
It's it. And I'm, I figure that's what I can do.
Yeah.
They speak English, or you have a translator?
We have a translator.
Yeah.
So we tried to learn the whole Spanish thing, and it's not working out.
Not that version of it, anyway.
I'm not no good. I just look at them.
Hey, you talking the best language, man.
That's it. Food.
That's it.
It brings everybody.
Yeah.
It really does.
You know it's Derby Day.
It is, isn't it? Oh, yeah, I wanted to ask you, today's Kentucky Derby Day. Jay, have you ever rode a horse and or mule?
Have I?
Being from Tennessee, you know, it's a lot of Tennessee walking horses, isn't it?
We had horses.
Did y'all have some
Coming
horses?
up, we did have horses. In high school, I wanted a horse.
Yeah.
And my dad thought I needed 13 to take care of before I got out of school. So
Really?
it seemed like it. I don't know how many we ended up with.
Dang, so y'all had a horse farm.
We just had horses, and it was down to 2. I think they're finally gone.
I was asking you that so you could tell me the story about the time your granddad put you on a horse.
That was
Was that a horse or a mule?
It was what were the Belgium?
Oh, the big
workhorses,
workhorse.
the big workhorse.
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandfather was a logger, and Charlie was his name. And what he would do, he would take Charlie in the back of the truck to the job. At the end of the day, he would just slap Charlie on the butt, and Charlie would go home. It didn't matter where in McNairy County. Charlie found his way home. And I remember one afternoon he put me on the back of Charlie, and I don't know how far we was from the house, but he slapped him on the butt, and I was hanging on.
There you went.
He was riding. So.
Did you have a saddle?
Oh, no. No, I mean, you was holding on to the mane.
Yeah.
There wasn't no rope or bridle.
No.
How old were you?
Oh, I was young. I was probably 5 or 6 at the most, because also my other grandfather, he had the Shetland ponies.
Yeah. She'll have one of them.
And yeah, they're mean. They kick my teeth out. Yeah. So
kick your teeth out.
I'll tell you, Shawali was rough to me.
Yeah. Well, what else, Shell? You got any more questions for Jay?
We made instead of we always start with facts about our person. I thought these are pretty funny. These are our Jay facts. He used to make cakes. He climbs poles and hates chiggers. Doesn't eat veggies except pickles. Goes to Ecuador every year. Has eaten and cooked guinea pigs. His photography skills are crazy good. Somewhat of a Renaissance man. Knows more about Instagram than anyone we know. Seems like a man who knows how to make moonshine, or at least homemade wine. Interested in getting into boudoir photography.
Hey.
Did we hit the nail on the head with those?
It's pretty good.
Do you know how to make moonshine or homemade wine?
Being from McNairy County, man, you got to know something about it. Either the production of, or the running of, or the law enforcement part. Which side do you fall on the fence?
Well, that'd be hard. I've always looked at the steels, and that'd be pretty cool to have one at the house.
Yeah.
But I was raised up right there at the county line. We talked about that.
Those were the beer joint or the joints.
My other grandfather, his gas station was right beside the Shamrock.
Really?
So I mean, that's how people can talk about the law enforcement side of it. My folks was
on the other side. They were a little bit on the other side of it.
So I'm like,
that's all right.
We ended up so nice.
I remember stories my granny told. They had a steal that down there. Old Reed Schoolhouse Road, man, they don't play around down there. And they would run. Somebody had to steal the road, the old dirt logging road, ran right up beside the house, and they'd go up in there every night and make it, and cook it, and run it out. And that was my dad was raised like that when he was a kid. They said they was used to all them bootleggers running by, and it was just what people did back then, man. They wouldn't. Sometimes you got caught, sometimes you didn't.
Oh,
sometimes you got paid, sometimes you got caught.
That's right. Those were the good old days. That's a wild place, man. It was a wild place.
There's a lot
Dixie
of
Mafia was big up there.
That was it.
Buford T. Pusser, is that who it is?
Buford Pusser, yeah.
Buford Pusser.
Buford T. Justice, that was spoken. He's a good sheriff. I liked him. I liked his style.
Well, we got a crawfish boil we're about to attend.
That's it.
Yeah, that's why we got Jay on the podcast, is he was coming to Mark Williams, Swine Life's crawfish bowl. So
everybody's local. He said everybody's welcome tonight. He's got plenty of crawfish, and
he does have
going
plenty
out to
of
the
crawfish.
Williams estate.
How much crawfish is he cooking?
I don't know. It's a ton. He's got some relatives from down there, outside of Baton Rouge somewhere. I forget where. Denham Springs. Yeah, they brought it all up. So it's gonna be some good eating, and I can't wait to get over there.
I'm ready.
Jay, thank you so much for coming out.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I hope it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be, Jay. And
it wasn't bad, but I'll probably never watch it or listen to it.
I don't.
No, it'll be the first one. It'll be the first one I've not. We listened to one on the way up, trying to get ideas of how I can impress y'all. And I won't never.
Whatever it was, it worked.
So
But we appreciate it, Jay. And
where can people find you?
On Instagram, it's Tennessee Mojo Barbecue.
Website.
You can go to Facebook, same thing. And our website is T.and Mojo Barbecue.
TNMojoBarbecue.com.
You get the hats, you get the seasoning, the beef rub, the regular rub.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
Should have brought them and set them up here.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can see the hat. They're pretty cool.
They're wanted.
They're wanted, yeah. Well, Jay, we appreciate it. And Shell, they can find us where?
You can connect with Malcolm at HowToBBQRight, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course YouTube. You can connect with me at Miss Southern Shell on Instagram and Twitter.
Hey, we appreciate y'all checking us out today, and we'll see you next time.